Hey YouTube, MrLuBuFu here doing... Oh, Swiss Q didn't fire. Let's go ahead and hop into single elimination then. I'm going to be showing off some powered cube on Magic Online. I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm trying to get more Magic online content on my channel and just see what we can do with it. So, this is powered cube. Um, so it is important to know that certain things go on. So this pack has a few cards. Like if you really wanted to force Storm, which is a lot more powerful in this cube, Tendrils of Agony is a good first pick to commit to it. There's also like Genesis if you want to go Reanimator, Land Tax if you just want to go some white deck. As for me, it's hard for me to pass swords. I tend to like building mid-rangey sort of decks anyway, and Sword of Feast and Famine can just do certain things. I kind of wanted to force Storm for this one, but I take swords. A lot of people tell me about it. And even in past draft videos, if you guys have seen in cube drafts, I don't like passing swords. Just because I like drafting mid-rangey decks with lots of dorky mana creatures. And what better is to stick onto like a Llanowar Elves than a sword? Apart from like Skull Clamp or, the GT or those sort of things. But sword's pretty saucy. Lets you do some broken things. I think at least. Like being able, especially Feast and Famine, just because you get to untap your lands. Whoa, okay. So here, this pack has like again, if you're going, if we were going Storm, we could take the Time Twister here, um, which might be fine. Opposition's also not a bad one to go into this early. A lot of people don't value Opposition highly. There's Leviathan if you want to go Reanimator, Trinket Mage can fetch some broken stuff. I mean, I could I could jump onto the Storm train. I really could with Time Twister. It's like just terrible in most other decks though. Opposition's great if you have a ton of little dudes, a lot of tokens to abuse with it. Otherwise, I could take like a Bayou, which is also fine. I don't know if I want to go Storm this draft. I think I'll record a different draft and go Storm because otherwise I get too greedy. I'm just gonna take Opposition. I think it has the highest upside out of any of these cards. Um, a blue-green opposition deck with mana dorks is, again, something completely doable. No power yet, so that's something. Well, then there's this pack. So this pack has different cards depending on the direction you want to go. You got a pair of lands, you have a Signet. There's an Etherling, which is, I think, one of the stupidest finishers in the cube just because people can't deal with it. There's Devil's Play, which is another card I really like, but I think I'm just going to take the Etherling here. Um, so many decks just can't deal with it. And if you get an Etherling out, people just can't win sometimes. So we're just gonna take it. It's not best in the opposition decks, but it's fine if you just slap a sword onto it. Um, and I mean, it literally is just a 6 mana. Am I already too far behind, or are you just dead? Because you're gonna be taking 8 damage a turn. I really like Etherling will never have a spot in my personal cube just because how impossible to deal with it is. Um, you have to really have things to go into it. Well, then there's this pack. Probably the best Tinker target. There's a Crow Mox, which is okay. Planeswalkers are always good in cube. I'm just gonna take Preordain. Preordain's a very powerful library manipulation. I do like Parallax Wave. Blaze of Colossus is very fun to do a lot of things with. And right now this deck doesn't seem to be doing a lot of fun things, which is not normal for your powered cube drafts. Typically you're doing something cool like show and telling Emrakul or sneak attacking or whatever, reanimating other stuff. Like this seems to be like a somewhat fair deck right now. So this pack has some cards. All is Dust is surprisingly good finisher, though I don't think we're heading into that direction. Like this pack is pretty emptied. I mean, there is an Inquisition, which it looks like we're heading into a more control-y sort of deck. I'm just gonna take Inquisition. There's a lot of powerful, like you either deal with their small stuff or you have to have answers to their big things. This is a pretty good turn one, be able to look at their hand. I like it better. Like Thawing Glacier is pretty slow. Looter Actually, Looter does hold a sword pretty well. Um, it is on color too, just cuts blue a little bit more. Is it stronger power than Inquisition? I don't think. I think I'm just gonna take the Looter. Then there's this pack, where there's the Abyss, which is people undervalue it a lot. Um, it can get out of hand really fast. There's Elish Norn, there's Liliana Best, there's Genesis Wave, there's Sphinx's Revelation. Question is, am I Sphinx's Rev deck, or am I an Elish Norn deck? Or am I the Abyss deck? Destroy target non-artifact creature that player controls his or her choice can't be regenerated. I really like playing with the Abyss. I think a lot of people just can't deal with it. So I'm just going to take it over Sphinx's Rev, or is Sphinx's Rev the correct pick? No, I think you just got to take Sphinx's Revelation. It can do, I mean, it's Sphinx's Revelation. It's already pretty good in Cube and Standard and all sorts of other fun things. And there's this pack where there's Ravages of War, which is incredibly powerful. Like it's the most powerful card of this pack. There's a Venser and there's a Mole Drifter and an Arid Mesa. Any one of those three I could see taking. I'm actually going to take the Ravages because I'm going to see if I can resolve an early threat, Ravages of War away their lands, and then just win that way. So I'm just going to take the Ravages and try and build a deck around it a little bit more. This pack is pretty empty for us. Nothing that impressive. Like, I don't think I'm going to go Savannah Lions even with the Ravages. Thelonite Hermit's okay with opposition. Mystic Snake's cute, but not the best. Nighthawk's just a solid creature. I'm not sure which one I want here. I think I'm just gonna take the Nighthawk in the off chance that black seems to be more open than other colors in Cube, so I'm just gonna take it and see where we end up. Well, that is a Wall of Omens. There's a Willbender, which I don't really care about, but Wall is pretty good in it, like a blue-white deck. So I'm gonna pick that one up. Well, this pack still has a Ralzeric in it. So we could just go American and start. Most of the fixing's gone though, but I'd still prefer it over Isamaru or Inkwell or Molten Tail Masticore. One of the things is I know I don't take lands highly enough, but yeah, now I definitely think I want to go into America. Devil's Play is really powerful. I guess here I don't really care for any of these. I'll just take an Avalanche Riders. And Ancient Grudge is playable, but you really want to be able to have the flashback up for it. And am I playing creatures or am I playing this? Yeah, I'll just take Spear randomly. Maybe I'm not sure what sort of deck we are. I don't think we're a Tanglewire deck though, or are we? Tanglewire just slows the game down so much. It really rewards you for having extra creatures, lands, that sort of thing. Well, then there's this pack. This pack has like Memory Jar is pretty cool. Oh, it's important to note all the storm cards didn't table, so someone jumped in it and jumped into the deck. I don't think we're a metalworker deck. Memory Jar is powerful, but bribery can just do some broken things. Um, Searching out against the green deck, like some decks can't beat bribery, and since so many people are trying to do flashy stuff, bribery can just beat them hard. And there's Upheaval is one of those cards that you really have to not pass. I don't know. I think we're just gonna take Upheaval, um, and start taking more artifact mana. I guess. I think that's the way I want to go about it. Upheaval's so good. I'm not sure of this direction. This draft has kind of gone in the massive train wreck style that is me not deciding a deck yet. Like we have 4 creatures and a sword and a spear, which is bad. We have Upheaval, but not many ways to make a ton of mana. We have some land destruction and not much to capitalize on it. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to see what sort of deck I want to commit to. I think we're going to be a more dirtily deck, but which means this spear is probably going to win. I think I will stick with the sword though. The sword can do some dirty things. Ralzaric is fine. It's not impressive. We don't have the creatures for opposition. So many things to do. I know. I think we're like certainly in blue. We can drop red if we really want. I just really like the Devil's Play and the Ralzaric. For white, like Ravages is okay, and Sphinx is basically the big reason, and Walls playable. I don't know. We're gonna see just what we get in the next few packs. Well, well. I think this pack has a few Planeswalkers in them. It also has the one that if it resolves, people can't beat. And I think I'm going to take it over getting. Karn is really good. There's a Wasteland, which is fine, but now I'm just going to take the Karn, try and ramp into our expensive spells, because Karn is pretty saucy. Well, Thran Dynamo does let us do that. Um, I do like Pristine Talisman, but Thran Dynamo I think is stronger. Maybe we table. There's nothing here I particularly cared to table. So that was a good pickup after the Karn. So here we can take a counter spell, a Baneslayer, or a Geist, or one of these red cards. Is this a Geist of Saint Traft deck? Geist of Saint Traft into Ravages of War. Geist of Saint Traft, Tanglewire, Geist of Saint Traft. Yeah, I think this is a Geist with Sword as well. This can be a Geist deck. Kind of like the Counterspell and the Baneslayer, but people play around Counterspell and like Mana Drain. I think taking the Geist here can do some saucy, saucy things. So here there's Wake Thrasher, Dave Judgment, Silverblade Paladin, Elite Vanguard. I think I'm just gonna, or Helix. I think I'm gonna commit to blue-white. And if I want to go blue-white, okay, well, I'm almost certainly not playing the Avalanche Riders. Which is better, Silverblade Paladin or Day of Judgment? I think I'm going to take the Silverblade. I could take the Wrath. Actually, having a Wrath effect is... Now, I think I'm going to take Silverblade, build a more creature-heavy deck to prioritize, or to make this Ravages and the Sword of Feast and Famine much better. So, Ranger of Eos doesn't do anything. Phyrexian Metamorph does, and Kitchen Finks does. I think I'm going to take the Phyrexian Metamorph, being able to copy signets and that sort of thing is pretty saucy. Being able to copy like a Thran Dynamo or a Tanglewire can really slow the game down. Kitchen Finks is also actually I think I'm gonna take Kitchen Finks. Kitchen Finks is one of those cards that keeps you alive against the aggro decks and holds a sword pretty nicely. This pack is mostly empty. I guess I could take a Mana Tithe. It's not really a card I like to get. There's also Shadow Mage Infiltrator, though I don't think we're playing with. I think I'm just gonna take the Mana Tithe. So from the original pack, I guess a Whipcorder tabled. Ugh, this pack's pretty empty. I'm not gonna take the Masticore. I'm just gonna take the Whipcorder. So we have here Winter Orb, which is not a card I like to get, or Catastrophe, um, which second Ravages of War like effect. Given it's 6 mana, Cradle's really late too. There's also a Garrison. Actually, I think I'm gonna take the Boros Garrison. Helps us play our Zarek and our Devil's Play. Lets us play fewer lands. It's a bounce land. So what does Flicker Wisp combo with? Flicker Wisp, Wall of Omens, Flicker Wisp, Kitchen Finks, Flicker Wisp, Silverblade Paladin, Flicker Wisp. Healing already does that. I can do stuff. Flicker Wisp or Tanglewire. Yeah, I think a Flicker Wisp, just like a white weenie sort of deck. So here I'm going to take the Near Heath Pilgrim. And yeah, it looks like we're at like a white creature deck. Oh, the Baneslayer tabled. Okay. So this sort of happened. I guess I'll take the Vanguard. I'm not sure how aggressive we want to be. And, I mean, there's a Forge, so we can splash for the Zarek or the Devil's Play if we really needed to. So you have, like, two sort of things. You've got, like, little dorky dudes, and then all of a sudden it's, like, Karn, All Is Dust, which we're not playing All Is Dust, by the way. There's, like, Karn, Aetherling is, like, late game win conditions. I was so hoping to open a piece of power in this power draft, but we just completely whiffed it. So what goes well for our deck? Unexpectedly Absent's okay. We have a Signet, a Marsh Flats, which doesn't fetch anything because I didn't prioritize it. There's Tameo, Restoration Angel, Flickering. Any of these creatures is pretty saucy, actually. Or we can just take a Signet. I think I'm just going to take the Restoration Angel here. There is a Titan and there is a Tameo, both of which are very good, but it looks like I'm going to be a creature-heavier deck. A heavier creature-based deck, whatever you want to call it. Maybe this Port Tables? If the Port Tables, I'll be happy with that. But I think I'm going to go with this. What? Did someone just pass the best card in Cube? Did someone just pass a Soul Ring? Okay, thanks guys. Made my deck so much better. There is no card you should take over Soul Ring, not even like Library of Alexandria or Black Lotus. So that just made our deck like 50,000 times better. Speaking of making our deck a ton better, there's Mother of Runes, Honor of the Pure, Treachery, Consecrated Sphinx, Solemn, and then Terminus randomly. I mean, Treachery is really good. Since we don't have high quality creatures, I'm going to choose to steal their best creature. Honor of the Pure might table, and then we're going like complete on the White Weenie plan. But I'm just going to take Treachery and make our 5 mana spells, which will come out early thanks to Soul Ring, even better. So this pack has a few cards we want, like Spectral Procession and Mirran Crusader. Both are really good. Lotus Bloom and Gilded Lotus do things as well. I'm just going to take the Mirran Crusader. Mirran Crusader is protection from black and green in this in Cube is notorious for being very good. So few people can deal with it. God, we just lose to this card. I'm going to take the Sultari Champion and go full-on White Weenie. Yeah, full-on White Weenie. So here we've got a Glenelender Archmage or Riftwing Cloudskate. I'm just going to take the Cloudskate, I guess. I think Glenelender is a better card. Also, we could have had the Bonfire Vampiric Tutor combo, which is my favorite, but that ship has sailed. I'm just going to take the Cloudskate here. Comes out early, survives the Ravages of War. Lingering Souls is a card. It's a good card. It means we're splashing black instead of red, though, or just like taking a Jushi Apprentice. I would just take Lingering Souls. See if that honor the pure tables. This pack pretty empty. I don't really care for Serendibifreet. I'm just gonna take an Apocryphite. So this deck is kind of a pile of cards. That tabled. The port tabled as well. I'm not sure if this is a port deck though. Just take Bone Splitter, make all of our dorks a little bit better. I'm actually gonna take the Bone Splitter as like a bad sword. So Caracas, Daxus. I mean, I think Survival and him should not still be in this pack, period. But if we're playing a dorky deck, I'm just going to take this Daxus and be really, really heavy on the White Weenie plan. Have this alternate condition. Yeah, there's the Honor of the Pure tabling. So I'm going to take it over Terminus. And just go full on White Weenie and hope to kill our opponent before they do something stupid. And play just a little bit of... I'm not going to play the red for the Ralzarek or the Devil's play. And then this is not an Upheaval deck. It's not a Sphinx's Rev deck. And I don't think it's an opposition deck. Like with Lingering Souls, it's good. Is it Tanglewire deck? I think it might be a Tanglewire deck. Taking Spectral. Now, because of Spectral, it might be better to have the, what's it called? I don't want to play against that card. The Opposition. I'd take that for the sideboard. Question is if that's better or not. Like, we're definitely not playing Mana Tithe. Just play like a white. Ah, this deck is pretty terrible. I'm not gonna lie. But I think it's gonna be cute. We're playing. Oh, this is an 8/4, not a Swiss. Oh, that was so bad. Are we playing against anyone I know? Nope. Okay, well, let's see. Like, basically, we have a Soul Ring and then other cards. So let's see if we can get there with this absolutely terrible, terrible pile. I'm tempted to play Opposition just because of all the token creation we have. And just play white creatures. Yay, bad creatures. I'm playing the Spear too because we have the ability to back it up. This is 31 cards, so we're going to have to make some cuts. So if we're going full on this, I'm going to get rid of the Aetherling. Get rid of this Bone Splitter and this Elite Vanguard. We have plenty of creatures already. I don't really want to play Whip Quarter. That puts us at 27. I could get away with playing 16 lands in this deck, though it is kind of sketchy. It's 16 lands plus Soul Ring. Let's see, what is bad? We don't need Thran Dynamo anymore, since we're not ramping into anything that big. I still kind of want to have Bribery and Treachery open, just to deal with giant creatures, since that's what this deck's going to be weak to. I guess I'll cut an Apocryphite. Like, Wall of Omens doesn't attack, it just draws a card. Splashing a little bit of black for Lingering Souls, I have to remember that. Like, I have a soft spot in my heart for Daxus, it's why I'm playing it. I think... I don't think I'm going to play Tanglewire yet, and play 16 lands with this. Seems okay. Let's pile by color and see if we have enough white creatures to make use of this Honor of the Pure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 white creatures. That seems like enough. I'm gonna go with this. Play these. I'm not even playing Karn. Like, I can bring this in for slower matchups. But I think I'm okay with this. 9, 6, 1. I'm not playing a forest. I am playing 2 swamps and one less island. Okay, well, let's see how well this goes then.